This is Dropkick Discussions.
Hey, yo.
We talk wrestling. I am just starting my babyface run. My name is Tara, and I'm joined in studio by...
the OG heel, Mike Foley.
the OG heel.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was doing it better before anybody else could.
That's right.
It's
Because he's better than you.
And you know it.
And you know it.
Same initials as that man right there.
Do you...
My middle name is Jack.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my
MJF.
god. That's our in. That's our in on how we get him to mess around with the station. We're gonna have the better MJF.
Listening, Max, if you're listening, come on out. Montclair, New Jersey.
Happy birthday to Max, by the way.
It's his birthday?
Yeah.
No. He doesn't get a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Max. I hope your L is treating you well. I hope your hand has not healed. And I hope that...
I hope that Wardlow is not helping you at all.
Oh, it's so good. But we'll talk about all that and more. We're going to talk about some heavy-duty stuff. If you noticed, before, the opening was the NWO theme song because we lost, speaking of OG heels, one of the best to ever do it.
The bad guy.
The bad guy, Scott Hall. You know him as Razor Ramon, passed away.
Yes, Scott Hall has passed away. Unfortunately, one of the original members of the NWO, also known as Razor Ramon in...
The bad guy. The bad guy.
The bad guy in WWF. And from all the stories being shared, a very sweet man who suffered from many an addiction in his life.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, full transparency, I personally don't have that many memories of Razor Ramon. It was a little bit before our time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where it's everybody that I look up to does.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, like, I even saw, like, Nyla Rose, who is, you know, one of the current people that's doing it out there, was talking about how part of her intro is inspired by Razor Ramon. You know, it was one of those things where just like, if this is the type of person and the type of character whose impact was felt like throughout the whole business, you know?
Yeah. He had an iconic match. The only reason I know Razor Ramon is obviously because when I first got into wrestling, my dad grew up in the 80s and the 90s. He watched Razor Ramon. But as I got back into it, I'm like, I really need to see if this ladder match was good. Because I wanted to see if everybody was correct. And I watched the WrestleMania 10 Intercontinental title ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. And it was amazing and
Worth the hype?
Worth the hype.
I believe it. Also, like, NWO, which was the faction that Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash, and they debuted Hulk Hogan. That was like the heel turn to end all heel turns, right?
That is one of the most iconic factions of the 90s.
Yeah.
In wrestling and in general, in pop culture. I see people wearing NWO colors all the time.
To this day, you'll still see them at like wrestling events.
You'll still see NWO shirts. They've made themselves an icon in wrestling, and no one can take that away. And both of Hogan's heel turn and the Outsiders showing up in WCW signaled a turn in the wrestling world, and he will not be forgotten.
Because you got to understand, man, like... I met you, the listener. Like, I know you, Mike, understand this, but like, Hulk Hogan was the babyface. I'm not talking about Hulk Hogan, the real person. I'm talking about Hulk Hogan, the wrestler in like the 80s.
We're not talking about Terry.
Right.
We're not talking about you, Terry. We're talking about your character, Hulk.
Because they're different.
They're completely different.
That's a story for a different day. But anyway, Hulk Hogan was the babyface of like the you know, the 80s like original WWF era. He was the good guy. He was the say your prayers, eat your vitamins, like
he was like,
all American good guy.
Listen to your parents. He was the pinnacle of the 80s lifestyle in early wrestling. He was that. That was his whole gimmick, was that he was the all-American hero.
And when he went to WCW from WWF, which was, you know, real, that he changed companies in real life.
Yes.
The way they worked it was he turned heel by joining up with, the reason we bring this up, with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and was like, as I understand it, like I said, it's a little before my time, but like that was the heel turn that left like every single person just going,
I gotta tune in.
Yeah. So, I mean, their impact on wrestling can't be understated, you know?
It was the heel turn that made Vince McMahon push Stone Cold Steve Austin to the point where he is now.
Yeah?
In doing so, Scott Hall accidentally made Stone Cold another icon.
Really?
When you think about it, in all honesty, because I know at the time he was getting there. He was getting that babyface fire, but he wasn't 100% there.
Yeah.
And then they just went full all in with him. I think that's right. I might be getting my facts wrong, because I think Hogan turned in the fall of the year before Austin won the Rumble.
Okay.
I think. I'm not 100% certain.
So, like, all this to say, like, either way, like, that event of, like, you know, the NWO forming in WCW was, like, one of the turning points in, like, TV wrestling. Like, it was a big deal, and Scott Hall will forever be a part of that, you know? Like you said, like, you see NWO shirts to this day at shows.
You know the three guys, Razor, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan, and for some reason X-Pac sometimes.
Yeah, depends on mood.
Depends on if they need him to be in a DX shirt or in an NWO shirt.
Oh man, what WCW did with the NWO is a different story, but it's just one of those things where, like I said, everybody who I look up to, who I watch and enjoy working, has the same sentiment of like how important Scott Hall and the NWO were. So rest in peace, Scott Hall.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace.
Thoughts and prayers with his entire family for what it's worth.
Exactly.
And
with Kevin Nash, someone who lost, as he put, quote, and I think you told this to me, someone he'll never love anybody else more than he loved Scott Hall.
It was like family to him. It was, so it's tough. There's nothing I could,
it's a sad day.
Magically say, although I wish there was. But
fortunately, folks, we have more sad news.
Heck of a legacy left behind, though. We have this news is scarier than, I think, more scary than sad.
It's also sad because of the rumors surrounding it. I know the doctor that said those things has not looked at Big E's stats.
Right.
He has not looked at any of that. So
let's bring you up to speed. You want to introduce this one?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, there's a wrestler called Big E. He was a former WWE Intercontinental Tag Champ, part of the New Day, one of the biggest factions currently working. He was in a tag match recently on this most recent episode of SmackDown. He was wrestling Sheamus and a man named Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland was supposed to give him a suplex, belly-to-belly suplex on the outside. And a belly-to-belly suplex has the thrower taking the person and trying to elevate them with their help onto their back.
You've seen it. You've seen it. The person giving the attack lifts them up, throws them effectively over their shoulder.
Yes.
To the mat behind them or the floor behind them.
And it's supposed to land back. However, there wasn't enough rotation, and Big E landed completely on his head and neck. In doing so, he was stretchered out of the match, and it has been revealed that he has broken his neck. However, no surgery is needed.
Right.
He has only fractured his C1 and C6 of his neck.
Right.
However, the rumor is currently that, just based off of one doctor's opinion, that he may not be able to wrestle again because the C1 is one of those vital parts of the neck that he won't heal properly if not taken care of.
Yeah, it's tough because we're still at, the wait and see part where just like there's nothing we could do but like hold our breath
and hope for the best.
Yeah, it was tough. I watched, it was on TV. There's tape of it out there of,
there's YouTube clips.
You know what a suplex is supposed to look like, and it's just he just doesn't get enough air, and instead of landing on his back, just goes straight down on his head.
Yeah.
He's been keeping people posted on socials. He did a couple videos straight from the hospital.
Mm-hmm. One of them, he was still in his singlet.
Yeah,
I was like, what a king.
Yeah, he didn't even get to change out of like what he was wearing in the ring, which is crazy. I didn't even think about that till you said it.
Yeah,
but yeah, C1 and C6 are up top. Those are higher vertebrae.
C1 is obviously very important.
Yeah, and it's tough. I hope that wherever his contract ends up, they have the good sense to keep him on because
they should.
Not only is that the right thing to do, full stop, but this man can, even if he's not in the ring, can talk circles.
Yes.
Like, I've seen him get over some of the goofiest things known to man, and he beat the gimmick into submission and made it work.
Of course.
So I think it would be a travesty, not just being a decent human being, but also to keep somebody on who's very, very talented,
Exactly. Here's hoping, knock on wood, that he is okay. And
that
he can, because we have seen some miracles happen with neck injuries in
Edge.
wrestling. Edge. Paige, rumored to be soon, probably, maybe. Daniel Bryan with his concussions, Christian with his concussions. We've seen miracles in wrestling. So let's hope that this is not something that will take Big E out of the prime of his career. Because he had just won, he's not had a good year so far, going over his stats. He won the WWE Championship back in October. He's having great so far, had a great match with Drew in Saudi Arabia. And then he was put in this mishmash, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, add Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley feud, and then lost the WWE Championship at day one, and is now back on SmackDown in a tag team. And that's fine.
Can we talk about? We started to address this a little bit in The Office.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about characters and about kayfabe stuff for a second. We're going to talk about the actual performers So keep in mind when we're talking about this is what we're talking about.
Yes,
Let's put the in-ring stuff on pause.
The actual people who are performing these actions and the characters.
The question now becomes, like, you said this isn't the first time that the person who gave the suplex, what's his name?
So his name is Ridge Holland. And so here's the full story on Ridge Holland, because I have followed Ridge Holland since he has come over to the NXT in, I think it was 2020.
Okay.
So he was originally on NXT UK. From what I've read about him, he was signed for a year before debuting on NXT UK TV. Vince tuned into NXT UK once and was like, Hunter, bring this guy over to NXT. I want him. He's like the next Brock Lesnar. And he's built. He is built very well. He is a big dude. Can throw people around, no problem. It is not that bad in the ring. He's actually fairly decent a lot of the time. He's a good powerhouse. However, when he was in NXT, he was put in the North American title picture, which is the mid-card division. It's where you can see stars get that elevated push. However, that didn't happen. Instead, he was wrestling another guy named Johnny Gargano. He was going for, I forget the exact move, but he had Gargano like this, and he almost injured Gargano with his neck. It was very scary, but it was pre-taped. Everything's okay. Gargano was fine. Ridge was okay. People just treated it like an accident. Later on, Holland then had another year in NXT. He worked, however, he was injured. He took a leg injury a few weeks later after the Gargano incident. I think broke his hand, pulled something in his hamstring and his calf, or something in his knee and his ankle. Long story short, he was out for a long time. Came back, worked with Pete Dunne until like the first few weeks of NXT 2.0. Then he was called up, and now he's in a team with Sheamus, and now he is currently on SmackDown, and he is in a feud with the New Day.
And he's the one that
belly to belly Big E.
Right, and it's tough because this is the type of thing that, like, the armchair coaches of the world like myself don't have any business really talking about, but it's tough to see the same person, like, be in two, like, pretty high profile injuries. And, like, I don't necessarily think that's his fault.
No.
It's just tough. Like, how do you proceed with someone who almost put one of the rising stars of NXT out of commission and just put one of the most over people? Is he somebody that's worth keeping on? Is he somebody that's worth, where do you go with him? Forget the story, but I mean, like, as a person who is signed to your company, what do you do with him? So
the rumor is that nobody is treating this like it is his fault. He visited Big E in the hospital. He apologized, from what we can assume so, and nobody's treating it as an accident. And accidents happen.
Yeah.
In this business, accidents happen all the time. They're called botches.
The internet calls them botches.
Botchamania is hilarious.
Right. But
Revolution 2021 had a botch. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
It happened all the time. It's hard because it caused an injury. For me, I'm not angry with Holland because there's so many factors into taking a suplex just in general that I feel like it was just a freak thing. Because that also happened, don't forget, with an Alabama slam to Madcap Moss from Drew McIntyre. Now, granted, Madcap Moss is totally okay. But the same type of thing happened. Head right on the mat. Neck went like this.
Right. It could have been really bad.
Exactly. And then whose fault would it have been? Would it have been Drew's fault?
I mean, that's the tough thing because, like, this is the reality of, like, wrestling is that every move is equal parts both parties, right? Like,
yes.
This is why I said we're not talking about in-ring, like, character stuff. Like, in real life, you need to be on the same page with the person you're in the ring with all the time, or else if you fall out of sync with each other, bad things happen.
Exactly.
So it's tough. Like, the more I think about it, I feel like there was a lot of people who were, like, immediately, when you see a wrestler you're a fan of break their neck on television, the gut reaction is to, be like, okay, that guy can't be trusted. Right. But, you brought this up, and I actually think you're right. I don't think it's as black and white as that. It's just a tough position to be in as a talent, right?
Yeah. I feel bad for Holland because you got to think of it like this. You took out, in theory, the more he listens to the internet of people saying this, and I really don't like that people are saying this. It's more gray than it is black and white.
Right.
Like you said, if you look at it as they look at it, he injured a future Hall of Famer. He injured someone who was WWE champion not even 4 months ago. And it's just, I feel for the guy, but at the same time, it's gray. It's not just black and white. It's not his fault. It's not Big E's fault. It was just sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, and again, exactly. This is why I wanted to make it really clear that for the next couple minutes we were going to be talking out of character, because like a suplex, both parties need to be involved, right?
Yes.
Getting the person who's receiving it off the ground, getting enough air, making sure both of them are in the right position so the throw works. It's not just like, that's why you got to be really clear that like it's not, it's not kayfabe. It's not this person is hurting another person and it went wrong.
Yeah.
It's both of them were doing this thing together to tell this story and it went wrong.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's why I think you're right. I think like, I don't think it's fair to just come down on this guy for like, being the guy that broke Big E's neck.
No.
My bigger question was, do you think that WWE developmental needs to double down on anything?
No. I think this is a freak accident. He was in developmental long enough. He was in UK. I think Vince may have fast-tracked him to NXT a bit too quickly, is my only complaint, because he didn't have a character. He doesn't have a character, and he's kind of just there. But now that he's with Sheamus, he has a character, there's something there, and he's working with veterans. Let's not forget. I know you don't know who Pete Dunne is, aka Butch.
I know. I know. The Butch, by the way.
Butch.
LGBT Wrestling Twitter went to town on that.
I feel bad for that,
it was
man.
Beautiful, but we'll get there.
But he's been partnered with veterans. He's been partnered with, ever since the Gargano incident, he's been partnered with someone because they know he needs to like get a little more time in. And I'm not saying Holland is bad. When I saw Holland do single stuff, I was like, I see what Vince sees in him. He's got everything.
Yeah.
He just needs mic skills and a character, and that's it.
We'll wrap this up and we'll go. I think we'll go to break to
Yeah.
play the stuff we got to play to keep the lights on, and then we'll get back and talking about AEW Revolution. But like, keep in mind this is especially directed at the people of the internet who have been saying these things about him.
Yeah.
You watched Christopher Daniels, who is one of the most talented wrestlers. He has been everywhere. He has done everything. You watched him botch something off the top rope on AEW on national television. Stuff like this happens. It's part of like...
Let's not forget...
Finger pointing doesn't help, is what I'm trying to say.
Let's also forget Psycho Sid breaking his leg and ending his career because they wanted him to go off the top rope. It's not always the performer's fault. Sometimes it's the booker. Sometimes it's just pure accidental. So anybody who's
keep that in mind.
Holland flack for this...
First off, get a life if you're harassing people on social media.
First off, if you meet Holland in real life, you will be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Second off, it happens. It happens all the time. Look at it happens at the most random things. Becky Lynch literally got a larynx injury because of Bianca Belair because of a poorly aimed punch. It's not always people's fault.
Yeah.
Because Bianca was doing the same thing she's always done because it was a house show.
Yeah. Christopher Daniels, again, has a permanent injury to his eye during because it was a relatively safe spot in his match with the Young Bucks. It sucks because you can't. It's harder to wrap your head around, but pointing fingers doesn't really get you anywhere unless we hear something else and the information that we get from the performers changes. Yeah. But until that happens, don't go after this guy like it's his fault that your favorite character is not on TV. Also, if you're harassing people on social media, get a life.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
The only person that should. No, I'm not going to say that.
We're going to take a break. Mike's going to say what he really means about that last sentence. And we're going to be back talking about AEW Revolution as well as some more WWE stuff as well as some indie stuff. It's going to be fun. Stick around. This is Dropkick Discussions. We bring you all that's fit to print about wrestling and some things that aren't. I am Tara. I'm joined in studio by...
Mike Foley.
If you want to call into the studio, by the way...
We'll gladly hang up on you.
If you think you want to box with God,
I hate that you did that line because that's one of the lines I use all the time.
If you think you can out promo us, that's an open challenge, by the way.
Yeah. 1,000%.
I'm gonna say that.
I remember the first thing you told me was that when you first met me, was like, this guy could cut a promo.
You want to make that an open challenge to anybody who could call in?
Yeah, because open
challenge.
Sorry, buddy, your arms are just too short to box with God.
You're not ready. You're not ready. You need to step your game up a little bit. But if you think you are, feel free to come in and get proven wrong.
We'll happily do it.
Let's talk about AEW Revolution. The first pay-per-view I've watched in a long time.
Some positive news.
Yes. You want to just go down the card?
Sure, I'll pull up the card.
All right. It's on good old Wikipedia. Let's start with the buy-in. By the way, I think AEW did a good thing putting more stuff back on the buy-in. The last buy-in before this was just like one match, and that was stupid.
And it was always the women's match?
Yeah, and it was all it was like, and it was also like just like pre-recorded promos for the whole thing. It was lame.
Yeah.
So there was 3 matches in the buy-in this
Yes.
time on free TV,
There
which
were
was nice.
3. There was legit Layla Hirsch taking on Chris Statlander.
Beauty.
Hook taking on QT Marshall.
Send Hook.
And my favorite news, the House of Black taking on Death Triangle and Eric Redbeard.
All right, so let's go through those real quick. The opening match, top. That was good. It was Layla Hirsch and the Galaxy's Greatest Alien, Chris Statlander. That was good. That could have been on the card. That was a good match.
Yeah.
I think everything except the Hook match could have been on the card, TBH.
Honestly.
And the Hook match, it's not Hook's fault. It's because he's still doing his monster, this match and ends in 5 minutes thing.
It's because they send Hook and Hook wins.
Exactly.
Hook will be the next TNT champion.
I believe it. So Layla Hirsch is a good fighter. Statlander's a good fighter. Statlander is like teasing being a little bit heelish. I don't know how that would work, but I'm excited to see.
I don't know either. I don't have an answer.
It's like she was in that promo and dropped that bomb of like, if this is how you act, I'm not surprised your mother left you when you were a kid. I'm like, Chris.
Well, that's part of the character.
I'm like, Chris, you're supposed to be nice. You're the alien.
They're shooty tooty. They're like, by the way, shoot means
off the cuff.
Off the cuff, like not in kayfabe. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
FCC, I love you. No. I haven't done
you
that.
do blow them a kiss every time.
I do. I try to. That's my shtick. Yelling and kissing the FCC.
Copy. So Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander was good. I'm excited to see where they go from here. I think Layla Hirsch is a good find too.
Yeah, she's great.
Hook QT Marshall. I mean, we kind of said it already.
Yeah, Hook is great because he's just shows up, wins, leaves, and this was like Hook's first big storyline because it's with QT Marshall. It's QT is great. He's always good at putting over talent. The Factory is a great jobber tag team.
Yeah. And
no offense to Nick Camarado, Aaron Solo, or Anthony Ogogo. It's just,
It's good work, especially because their figurehead just kind of dipped.
Yeah.
It was, it's good that it was not a bad match. It was just, it is what it is. It's a monster coming in and wrecking somebody and leaving.
Show up, leave. That's all you need.
House of Black versus Death Triangle with Eric Redbeard. House of Black, Malachi Black, my father Brody King, and Buddy Matthews.
My new best friend.
Versus Pac, Penta Oscuro, and Eric Redbeard.
Yes.
In a 6-man tag. The spoopy match.
For those who don't know, it's just dumb. It's just dumb wrestling fun because it's just a PWG match. Which, if those who know it, awesome. If those who don't. It's fine. But the House of Black won, which is the right choice.
I think it was a good balance of just like camp and like brilliant wrestling. I enjoyed it.
And now we're on to the main card.
Out of the main card, we jumped over to the pay-per-view. Jim Ross came out. Jim Ross gets a theme song, which is just kind of nice.
Yeah, well, he deserves it.
He does. First match, Eddie Kingston defeats Le Champion.
The demo god, the influencer.
Chris Jericho by submission.
Yep.
That was a good match to start things off with.
It's always good. Eddie is always great. Chris Jericho, depending on your personal opinions about him, is a very good in-ring performer.
Yeah, especially when he shows up to work, and he definitely showed up to work for this.
This was probably Eddie's biggest match since that he won. He hasn't won on any of the pay-per-views. They made clear of that, and it's also true. He has not won a single pay-per-view match, and it annoyed me to no end because I put that together the day before, and I was like, I really hope Chris doesn't go over here.
Yeah.
Because... No offense to Chris, but you're 2021. You were putting yourself over a lot, bud.
Yeah, but that's all right. Kingston won and went to shake Jericho's hand after the match, and Jericho left.
No. He said no.
Jericho said no.
No.
Rolled out the ring, left Kingston standing there, and that was that on that.
Yeah, he left Kingston standing there menacingly.
Menacingly.
Standing there menacingly.
God, okay, this is another thing to put a pin in. Wrestling characters as SpongeBob characters.
We'll do that another episode.
Yes.
Because we were supposed to do fantasy booking today, and obviously that didn't happen.
This is planning itself, and I love it. I love doing this with you. Kingston Jericho was good. It was a good match,
You can't go wrong with some of the best workers in the company.
Does what it says on the box.
Exactly.
Good thing to start the night with.
AEW Tag Team Championship match. Jurassic Express, the champions, defending against Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. And that was a good triple threat. You can't go wrong with triple threats, and you can't go wrong with tag triple threats.
Okay, I wanted your opinions on this one for a couple reasons. One, just on the match itself in general, and two, how did you feel about the title being defended in a 3-way match?
I think defending it in a 3-way match is fine because it's elevating the Bucks Red Dragon story.
Okay.
Which is not usually what your tag team titles are supposed to do, but you know what? It's fine. It's saving that eventual match for later down the line. I understand it. I understand the booking choice. I don't understand then why Jurassic Express needed to be there, but I also do understand why.
Yeah.
How about the match? I only saw highlights, and you can't really go wrong if you're a Spot Fest guy, which sometimes I am, but I also like grounded wrestling, as you know this. One of my favorites being Bryan Danielson, another one being I just have a lot of favorites. We'll go over.
We'll get to him later.
He's
later on the card.
Also, another episode, favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yes, absolutely. Writes itself.
It does.
Jungle Boy was good. Luchasaurus was on fire during that match. He
always is. He's probably one of the best hot tags in the industry right now.
I feel like he gets slept on a little bit, and this match,
it's because he's a dinosaur who wrestles.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
No, nothing wrong with it.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
We love goofy wrestling.
We love a wrestling dinosaur with a history major. All right.
Who's also a doctor.
Yes, we stand. But he was in top form during that match. I was more interested in seeing him than anything else that was going on.
Yeah.
It was good. You know, I feel a little bit weird about the title being in a 3-way tag match because I think things get a little bit weird, especially because I had 2 people with me that this was their first pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it was tough to kind of sell this because for somebody who doesn't know, it's tough to keep track of what's happening. So yeah. I don't know if I would have put the title on the line for this match, but there was nothing wrong with the match itself.
No. Next up, the face of the Revolution ladder match.
Ladders,
Why
baby.
don't you read off who's in that match?
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
All right. In the match, we got Christian Cage, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, and Wardlow in a ladder match for a shot at the TNT Championship. Wardlow won.
Wardlow's story of leaving MJF has finally completed. The breakup has taken place.
It has happened, and it continued through the night. We'll get back to that.
Because it's Wardlow's world.
Oh, my God. I can't wait to see. This is feel like somebody's just been let off the leash.
Yeah.
I think it was a good idea to walk him into AEW as MJF's henchman.
Bodyguard, best friend.
Yeah, but I think now's the time. How do you feel about it?
He's great. I love all the powerbomb stuff. I love the orchestrator of violence, I think is the character, where it's literally classical music and then he's powerbombing people. That's perfect. I think they should stick with that instead of Wardlow's World. I would love to see a t-shirt of that. I would buy that t-shirt. Or it's just Wardlow powerbombing someone onto drums.
Yeah.
So, shop AEW. Hire me.
You should hire Mike. You absolutely should.
But some of the spots that I saw
throw us on commentary, man.
Why not?
Dude, I'll dark commentary. Never mind.
Dark elevation commentary. I'll happily do it.
We'll get back to that.
Another episode. Not now.
But this was a good match. It was, ladders was the stipulation, and
you can't go wrong with ladder matches.
You can't get the ring hanging over the ring, and the match itself was good. I think another person that needs to get let off the leash is Keith Lee.
Oh, he will. I think he's in a feud right now with QT Marshall, but I think eventually he will.
Yeah, I was watching
his new theme song.
Oh, it is amazing, and Keith Lee is slept on. I was watching a match he did on the Indies with Chris Hero.
Can't go wrong with Chris Hero.
It was so good. He's so good, so I can't wait to see him do more. But this was Wardlow's moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was clearly either going to be Wardlow or with Sammy being with Sammy being the champ at the time. I thought it was going to be Starks.
Oh, yeah.
I thought either one of those men deserved it, and I would have loved to have seen them unify the FTW title into...
Cage was the only bad pick for me. That would be the only decision I would have questioned, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm not upset if he won because I like Christian Cage.
Yeah, no, that's not shady. I think he would have... I don't know where they would have gone with
He's a great professional wrestler. I'm glad they're using him again because he hasn't been wrestled since All Out.
Yeah, and you know what? Good thing the Wardlow won because this just... Oh, it's so beautiful.
It was a beautiful match.
Next up, we got Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti. Okay, I've never seen a kiss this disrespectful since The Godfather.
So to clarify...
Also, Jade came out dressed as Jade from Mortal Kombat. Yes. That was bananas.
She's great.
Yeah.
Jade is their current TBS champion, which is the women's mid-card champion. However, to start the match, there was no grappling. There was no just punching each other.
Right.
It was Jade grabbed Tay Conti, kissed her, and then they just started going ham. And
it was beautiful.
And then it was later revealed to be her KOD. I'm not gonna say the actual word, but like it's basically like
Kiss of Not Alive.
Yeah, Kiss of Not Alive. Basically the mafia movies, and it's
Yeah.
just like okay,
I knew it was you, Fredo.
okay,
Broke my heart.
I like that gimmick. I like it. It's like okay, I'm fine with that. As long as everybody is cool with it, then I don't mind.
Totally. And it was a good match too. It was a longer match than what we've seen Jade in.
Yes, which is perfect because this is what we need to see her doing.
Yep.
No offense, Jade, you are amazing. Great job. I just needed to see you in longer matches. This was perfect.
That's exactly what we needed.
Tay has also improved phenomenally.
Yep.
Since coming to AEW, being stuck in the WWE developmental system and then just giving free reign. That was a great pick by them.
It was, and like you said it. When you do the monster thing of like this person shows up, wins matches in 5 minutes and leaves, you have to make them earn their position with a longer match. Otherwise, it just looks like they can't wrestle.
Yes.
So having Jade Cargill do like a longer match, especially on the pay-per-view for the belt,
Yes,
was perfect.
Yes.
That was the exact right decision. And it, like you said everything I wanted to say. It showed how much she's developed, how much potential she has, and the KOD was golden.
Yeah.
It was golden.
Next up
is the best match on the card.
It really is. CM Punk taking on MJF.
All right, can we talk about this before we even get to the match?
Collar match.
Before we even get to the match, can we introduce it, right? Let me set the scene.
Yes, set the scene. Please set the scene as
this
MJF
is the best storyline.
Why he's on his Joker arc.
Yeah, this is the best story I've seen on TV in a while. So this has been going on since the feud started. You know, they started trading insults back and forth. And, you know, MJF met CM Punk when MJF was a kid, right?
Right.
And that picture is, like, pretty well known on the internet. So they started working that in. And eventually you had CM Punk on TV when he announced it was for the dog collar match after MJF, you know, cheated to win on TV in Chicago.
Yeah.
CM Punk brought up the picture. And then in the next promo, this is the second to last show before the Revolution pay-per-view. I know there's a lot of going back, but bear with it. Pays off. MJF cuts the backstory promo.
The backstory.
Where he just goes into how much CM Punk meant to him as a kid, all these things, and like how when CM Punk left, which happened in real life, it destroyed him and, you know, gave himself a villain backstory in one move. It was so good. And then the last free TV before the pay-per-view, he confirms that he's still a garbage person, even though he gave himself a backstory by low-blowing CM Punk when they go to hug it out, beating him until he's bleeding down, and never trust when a wrestler goes to the ring wearing white.
Nope.
I've learned that.
Nope. Same
And
thing,
then
you never trust a Ric Flair match when he's wearing red.
Exactly. I never trust Ric Flair, period.
That is also true.
And, you know, then MJF delivers the line, he's got Punk with a chain around his neck, delivers the line, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he's not there.
Which is just plucked straight from ROH, Punk.
Sunday I will show you that I am the devil himself.
Yep.
End the episode. That brings us to Revolution.
This is just as good a line as Miro going into his TNT championship match says, with the man who isn't afraid of dying meets the man that isn't afraid of killing him. And it's just,
beautiful. It was
some
beautiful.
of the lines in wrestling are just beautiful.
Especially once you let them build their own characters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we get to the match in Revolution, right?
Yes.
I gotta just, this is the only one I'm gonna do this for, otherwise we're gonna be here all night, but I want to give you the play-by-play of how the match started. Cult of Personality hits. MJF cuts it off and walks out.
As he should.
Boos rain down from, you know.
As is expected.
But instead of Cult of Personality coming back on, Miseria Cantare by AFI, CM Punk's old Ring of Honor entrance music hits.
Mm-hmm.
And the storytelling is so good. AFI is one of the biggest straight edge bands in the world. Brought full circle, and CM Punk walks out in his old gear.
Yep.
And then they proceed to have the best match of the night.
Yep. Was probably one of the best match of the night. The only thing that could beat it was the next match, I think, to follow.
It was so good. It was a dog collar match.
No, 2 matches to follow. My mistake, but
yeah, you're good. It was. If you don't know what a dog collar match is, it's literally they both have collars on and are chained to each other, so neither of them can leave till the match ends.
By pinfall or submission.
Yeah, and it was a thing of beauty. Punk got opened up, MJF got opened up,
And then the final moment that cemented Wardlow's face turn, he comes down to the ring. MJF has the Dynamite Diamond ring, which is just another random thing that they give people. And it's basically because they don't want to give him the world title yet because other stories needed to be told. MJF has it.
It's his cheating weapon of choice.
It's his how he wins. He's basically the modern era Ric Flair. And so Wardlow comes down.
Because MJF is losing.
MJF is losing.
He calls for Wardlow from the back like he always does, and you think this is how it's going to go.
You think that's how it's go. Punk catches him, hits him with the GTS. And Wardlow is about to turn around and walk back, but he goes, why not? Places the ring down on the apron, leaves it there, and walks to the back, giving Punk the opportunity to use the Dynamite Diamond ring to knock Max out for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Effectively giving Maxwell Jacob Friedman his next feud and ending this one. Storytelling at its finest, folks.
Take notes. You had build up. It was goofier during the build up. It got serious when it got closer to the climax of the action. You had backstory, and it just kept you interested the whole time. It's one of my favorite stories of the modern era. It really was. And what a match. What a match. I know some people balk at this, but having them both opened up.
Perfect.
Especially, it adds so much to that, I think. I'm not, some people get real, I don't know how you feel about it. I think gigging, it works. I think it's something that, as long as it's in the right hands, can be a really powerful part of the story.
Exactly. And for me, it's the right story that needs to be told. I can't justify like a random match on Dynamite unless it's accidental. But if it's that kind of story, if it's Kenny Hangman, if it's certain stories that have reached their climax, I'm okay with that.
The Rhodes brothers.
Exactly. If there is an ultimate match and it's reaching its climax, this is the end of the feud, this is the end all be all, then that is okay.
There should be blood. There can be blood if it works.
Yes, there can be if it works. Obviously, WWE has proven that time and time again that maybe it's not all you need, because look at Edge Rollins from Saudi Arabia. That was in a cage match. That was a feud ender, and there was no blood. Yeah. And it was probably one of the best matches that WWE put on.
Yeah, you don't need it, but I feel like sometimes it really is seasoning.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we agree that was the best match on the card, because that made my night. That was so good.
Yep. The next match was AEW Women's Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Thunder Rosa. Britt Baker was defending her championship, and she retained. But that's okay, because this Wednesday, folks, you will see it again.
The women's title match was good.
It was serviceable, and now they're finally putting the belt on Rosa a year later.
Hopefully.
I think it is. I think it's time.
It's not official yet.
It's not official yet. I'm just predicting.
They're going to fight on TV. It's a cage match, yeah?
Yeah, that's a feud under. That's a feud under for me.
Yep. Which is good.
Yep. Next up, my personal favorite match, because it's got two of my favorites. Jon Moxley taking on Bryan Danielson. And a match that has...
Can you do the Jon Moxley thing that he introduced?
Yeah. I can't. Jon Moxley. I can't.
That man stretches... The announcer for AEW stretches the letter J like I've never seen in my life. It's just so impressive.
Yeah, it's just like Tony Chimmel with the rated R superstar.
Yeah, very that. But it was Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Danielson propositioned Moxley to be on a tag team. Moxley said, unless we throw down, I'm not going to do it. So we got this match.
Yep. We got this match, and it was perfect. And William Regal came out, made his AEW debut.
Unannounced.
And now they are all in a tag team together. And it is perfect, and the world is a better place for it.
The world is a better place.
Final match, Tara, take it. Oh, wait, there's two other matches.
Yeah, I'll do the second to last. Do you want to do the last?
You can do the another two, because I did too.
Okay. Second to last match was ape.
It was fun.
Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Sting versus Matt Hardy, Andrade El Idolo, and Isaiah Cassidy.
It was fun.
6-man tornado match, which means all 6 participants are legal, but the pin has to happen in the ring.
Yep.
Them's the rules.
Dems be the rules.
And, first off, any excuse to see Darby Allin wrestle. Sammy Guevara is good. We know he's good. Matt Hardy's good. We know he's good. See?
Sting at 62 years old is taking bumps. Table bumps, folks. If you don't know what that means, he literally jumped from a height and put Andrade El Idolo through a table. Except it's basically the same age as your grandfather. It's the same age.
He's 62.
He's 62, folks.
He hit that thing in front of the whole crowd. It was incredible. And the whole match was good, but that was just like bruh.
You can't be. It's great.
You are hanging out with Darby Allin too much.
Sting, you really gotta chill, man. I get he's like he's your unbiological son, like Christian Cage and Jungle Boy, but you gotta chill.
Yeah.
I
don't want to watch you I don't want to watch you die on TV, man. That was bananas.
But that was great. That's just a fun little filler match to get to the main event.
Yeah. Also, the Darby Allin team won. I forgot. I don't know if I mentioned that or not.
It's worth mentioning. Yeah.
The main match, our main event: Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole, baby, for the AEW Championship. Yep. How'd you feel about it?
It was good. It was good. From what I saw, it was good.
It was good.
Adam Cole came out in Master Chief armor.
He did.
And Hangman showed up, did his Hangman thing.
Yeah.
That's all you really need.
Cowboy-ish.
It needed to main event the show, but at the same time...
Thank you. I'm glad you said it.
Should it have...
Nothing about this match had to be changed, except that maybe it shouldn't have been the last match on the card.
If it was opener... Perfect, but then where would you
put it in the middle? Put it where switch places with either the Punk or the Danielson match.
Yeah, I think that's fine. But it's also like
it's not, and it's again I can't stress this enough, right? It's not a bad match. It was a great match. It was actually
great, but then there's two amazing matches also on your card
that had better storytelling leading up.
Yes, Adam Cole was just like, I don't like you, I want that belt, and Hangman was like,
L.
No,
I'm gonna hand you this L right after I get done dealing with Lance Murderhawk Monster, whatever his name is.
Archer.
Yeah. It was a great match, you know? It was great. I just think that because you had, like, such supernaturally good stories, I think maybe you could have bumped this one up the card a little.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? You could have just, put a little bit more storytelling into it. Tony, no offense. I love you, but...
Oh, also Swerve Strickland got signed.
Yeah. Can't forget that.
Swerve Strickland got signed. I loved it.
Recently, Paige Van Sant was signed. Thankfully, another female talent has been signed to the roster.
Copy. Also, on free TV, the day after, Jeff Hardy comes out.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Hardy's also officially with AEW.
Jeff Hardy came out on free TV. The one night I'm not watching and one of my favorite characters comes out.
The one night I could watch and I had it on. I'm like, Jeff Hardy's coming out.
Yeah, and he hits the little do thing.
Yeah, like his brother is getting beaten down by the Hardy family office, and it's just literally like, let me do my dance real quick. Yeah. All right, let me go save my brother.
He had to supercharge this special, man. Nyla said it. He had to charge his attack.
Yeah.
Also, Nyla was lamenting that she can now no longer use the Swanton Bomb in AEW. But yeah, no, that happened. That thoroughly blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You love to see it. So I think we talked about Revolution enough
and AEW enough.
You had something. You had an experience.
Yes, so WWE has released their new WWE 2k22, and I'm having so much fun with it. I'm slightly addicted to it.
You got to fill me in. I don't have it.
So it is basically it's the newest wrestling game, and it's giving a new system that's more arcadey. It's fun. The Universe mode, one of my favorite modes in 2k19, is fun because I get to book my own shows and yada yada yada. The roster is a lot smaller, obviously, because budget cuts.
Because the company made billions with a B and then cut a million people.
B. They also had brought back my GM mode, which is a mode that was in previous WWE games, but they took it out.
Yeah.
I had never experienced my GM mode. And I just told you this before we went on
sometimes in the older games, it didn't quite work.
Exactly. Well, it's working so far, so fun.
We'll have to see it.
I sat down to try it out 4 p.m. on Sunday. No, not Sunday. I bought it Saturday.
Okay.
4 p.m. Saturday. I didn't stop playing till 11 p.m. that night. And then I played for another few hours doing Universe mode, setting up everything I wanted.
Fair enough.
And
there's online content too, right?
Yeah, there's online content. There's plenty of other stuff. Like, it's not just single player. There's also Rey Mysterio's Showcase, which I started that. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. I like the new controls. They're taking some time to get used to. They have all the character models look great. Walter looks a little goofy, but...
He's Walter.
Yeah, but also they got my boy Cameron Grimes looking great. With his great theme that I'll play eventually to intro the show one day, but not today.
We had to do the NWO.
We had to do NWO because it's for life, baby.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear because I'm gonna be honest. I would look at that game and I don't know how I wasn't sure how to feel about it.
It's just fun.
I'm glad. That's awesome.
Like I remember Nate telling me this, and I fully agree with him because I was driving back up here, and I was like, oh yeah, he's right. I don't have time to do story games anymore, and I love story games. So, given the opportunity, I've been playing a lot more wrestling games or a lot more dumb fun games like Smash, like Mario Kart. just to turn my brain off when I have the time to play video games, except if it's New Vegas, in which case
Gotcha, partner.
I sat down to play this game and I just had fun. Like it was like playing 2K13 or WWE 13 or 2K14 again, and I was just like, wow.
That's so awesome to hear that they hit their stride with this again, because there was the late 20-teens. We had a couple issues with those games. Some of them didn't really work that well, and
glitches.
People had opinions, but people have opinions no matter what. It's really good to hear that that you had a good experience with this, and it makes me want to buy it.
It's a very fun game.
Is it on sale on Steam?
It is not yet. It just released.
It's so awesome.
I'm trying to convince my roommate to play my GM mode with me.
Really?
So that because I got him a little interested in wrestling because I showed him GCW, and he's like, "This is awesome."
Jump in the deep end, man.
I was like, he's no one. Everyone's seen WWE. No one has seen GCW. No one's seen AEW yet. More people are being exposed to it, and nobody's seen these brutaler stuff. So I started there, and now I'm drip feeding him everything.
I gave you the best darn wrestling playlist on YouTube link, didn't I? Okay,
I believe you did, and I sent you wrestling bangers for the gym.
Yes, and I need to give you ability to access the YouTube one because I think that's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
but that's so awesome. So I so want to play that game. The last WWE game I played was I forget. It was one that had Seth Rollins on the box.
Oh, that was like 18.
Yeah, I got it for the Xbox that I don't have, so I brought it to my friend's house. And we made a guy that was just neon fire engine red and just had him trying to win over Paul Heyman for the entire game. It didn't work.
No.
But we tried. We tried.
Yep, we tried.
It was fun. It was a fun time. So I'm glad the new one's good.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope everybody out there has a great day. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Stay sane. Take it one day at a time.